Boots and Heels. So glad you joined us.
I'm Boots.
And I'm Heels. Yeah, we've had a very interesting week this week. We've had a lot of comments too coming in, and having to address those comments. We do the best we can. We can't answer everybody. We wish we could, but we certainly read them all.
I don't know.
You know.
I mean, yeah, we read them all, but I don't
we
know
do read them all.
I don't know that we necessarily need to respond to all of them because some of them are pretty out there.
Yeah, some of them are, but some of them are pretty good.
Yeah, we have
We have an awesome audience. We really do.
We do.
And actually, what I do see happening is I see a whole lot of conversation going on.
And that's the whole purpose
between each other.
Yeah,
you know?
and that's the whole reason that we did this is because we are not journalists.
No,
we are just the common,
not.
regular, everyday tax-paying citizen that wants to have conversations so that we can maybe come to some mutual understandings about some subjects.
Yeah, we're gonna kind of keep it light here a little bit. We're gonna try to get out of here as quick as possible today. We've got some things we need to do, but we did want to kind of touch on some local news.
Right.
Some stuff's happening with the big plague that's obviously still hitting us across the world. Right here in Branson, Missouri, we have a doctor that came in and actually
liberated.
Basically, they're calling it kind of kidnapping a patient by the request of the wife, though, because the wife said they were killing him. And I'm not going to disagree with that. I don't know. Who knows? But it is interesting. I'm reading about it. They actually went in and took him out of there. And I guess he's doing okay right now. I mean, it looks like it was touch and go for a little bit, but he's doing good.
On a personal note, if I would have been more than thrilled to have known this man, this physician who did this, because maybe my brother-in-law would be alive today if we would have had someone advocate for him, because my sister had no choice in his treatment, no choice in anything, and wasn't even able to get him moved and relocated from the hospital system that he was in where he died. And I hate that she's probably going to be watching this, but if us talking about these subjects can make a difference for somebody else, then I'll continue to say it.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to do a shout out to the American Frontline Nurses and Advocacy Network. Again, I'll say it, the American Frontline Nurses Advocacy Network. They're doing an amazing job.
Absolutely.
I watched an interview that was done with the Senator Johnson just recently, and I was really blown away by what this nurse had to say, and a lot of the doctors also and people that were there.
A lot of you probably watched a video she released back during the pandemic
in the
shutdown,
very beginning.
when she was in New York, I believe, and she was on hospital grounds in a room crying to herself, talking about how these patients were being treated and being just left to die. And I know a lot of you out there saw that. And actually, this is the same nurse who has medical credentials out to here.
Oh my goodness, It's the old thing, the nurses and the doctors. I'm not saying one above the other, one lesser than, because both of those roles are very, very important. But it's kind of like, the nurses do all the work and the doctor comes in and catches the baby. Okay.
Right. I know a lot.
So I kind of have that in my head.
Actually, I know a lot of nurses.
Incredible work that they do.
Nurse practitioners that are probably a lot more qualified, that have actually been in the field working with patients longer than physicians, and that are very well respected.
Well, and those nurses today are having their jobs threatened.
And if they speak out at all, they lose their jobs.
How horrible is that? Because they were on the front lines. We've said it before, during a terrible, terrible time, and risking their own, because nobody really knew what was going to happen with this pandemic or how severe or even anything about it enough anyway to make a judgment call. And they were out there possibly sacrificing themselves, definitely to save others. And yet those very same nurses today's jobs are threatened and they're losing their jobs. And some of them are just flat out walking away.
Right.
Well, I was looking at something the other day that had basically 6 steps in it, and it kind of did give me reason to pause for a minute and really look at it. And I hope our audience does too. But, let's look at how the CARES Act is involved in this. Let's look at the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services and see what's happening with that, because, you have to be diagnosed, right? When you go to the hospital, they'll tell you have something, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. It's been reported, I don't know exactly, how true it is, but that if you're admitted and the admittance shows that you have COVID, there's some that could be changing hands there. And then, of course, the R word that we can't say because we'll be censored immediately if we do. I mean, but, if you want to talk about the horse drug, okay, and have something to say about that, ivermectin, we ought to be able to say something about the other one.
Right.
But anyway, you can't, but I can certainly, and I'm not a doctor and I'm certainly not a nurse, but I do believe what I'm hearing from not only a lot of doctors and a lot of nurses that maybe we need to pay attention to what that does to your lungs and to other vital organs.
Well,
but anyway, so there's got to be something there. And it showed, I believe, what I read was, that there may be some sort of transaction happening there if you're given that. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, something else happens when you are put on a mechanical ventilator.
Right.
So there you go. And then, of course, if your death certificate says you've died of COVID instead of something else, like, your heart disease that you already had,
or,
for
heart
years,
disease,
or any of that.
Your pulmonary edema
Yeah.
that could have actually been caused or made much worse from the R word.
Yeah, exactly.
Which then causes your lungs to fill up with fluid because your organs can't pump it off. So, one leads to another. It's a snowball effect.
I mean, we're not going to say that anybody's killing anybody because we're not qualified to do that. We're not there in the room, and we're not the ones that are working with those patients and helping those patients and administering the drugs and taking care of those patients. But isn't it funny that those people that are doing that are saying that?
Right. They are saying it.
We're not saying it because we're not qualified to say it. But what we are saying is that we need to really look at all of this and not just, some things. And it's not the vaxxers and the anti-vaxxer war going on out there, and it shouldn't be. It really should just be that people are being very cautious because things don't add up. I've said it a dozen times. I need things to make sense, and this is not making sense to me. And as long as something's not making sense to me, well, I'm a little hesitant, about it. So,
I mean, it's just a very serious thing. And what I'm saying is that everybody has the right to try to be informed, and people are not, there's no informed consent out there because people are, the truth of even older medical studies from Ebola, when certain medications were used with that and found to cause a 30% death rate. So, go figure.
Yeah, if it's already been tried and true and caused a disaster, why in the world is that the go-to now?
I know. Well, and we
raises an eyebrow at least, or at least
sure
it
does.
should.
And thankfully, some people, medical professionals, are actually speaking out about it because there are regular, everyday citizens who've, for quite a while now, have said, this doesn't add up and it doesn't make sense to me, and I need somebody to explain it, but nobody would explain it because everybody was afraid of censorship.
I mean, I wish I could just stick a key in a lock and unlock it and open up this great big Pandora's box, if you will, and actually get to the truth. Big question why it started in the beginning, because I believe there is a why in there.
There's definitely a why.
And so, and then, what's happened after the fact and what's continuing to happen today. People are dying, and I don't think they're all dying of the big C word either.
And why are people vilified for being reluctant?
Yeah.
Or for asking questions? Because
they're shamed.
I mean,
they're shamed for asking questions.
If the science is exact and we're supposed to trust the science, then why wouldn't we be allowed to ask these questions and be answered with answers that we can believe in and trust and have faith in?
I don't have the answer to that question. We've been digging for the answer to that question forever. Why can't you ask? Why can't you be hesitant?
Why is it against the law to ask questions?
Yeah.
Why are you facing public scorn and vilified if you ask questions?
Yeah. Hey, let's talk about the truckers a little bit.
Right?
I mean, golly, talk about world gone crazy. Talk about GoFundMe and Facebook and censorship and all of that. I mean, what about that? What say you all about that? I mean, how do you get to redirect funds?
Right. This is not the first time that GoFundMe has decided, the liberals behind GoFundMe have decided that they can seize funds meant for a certain charity and organization and redirected it to their own.
How do you get to do that?
Right. Because they own the charity, and they decide that they can reallocate the money that you send to these people. So I suggest that if you donated to the truckers, and because GoFundMe is seizing that, you have an allotted period of time to rescind your donation. So if you've given to that, you may want to look into taking your donation back and trying to find another way around to actually get that money
where you wanted it to go.
Because it's your money and it's your right to choose where it goes.
Now, that's just incredible to me that they can do that.
They can.
Well, I know they can. They obviously have.
I mean, I've actually known a female who is a Second Amendment expert. One of the most intelligent women I've ever known. And when people say, who would you like for your children to be like? I say, like this woman, because she is amazing. And she has done a fund before that people could donate to pay for weapons training and certification for ladies who couldn't necessarily afford that and who want to have the knowledge to protect themselves and protect their families and want to be trained. And it's an expensive endeavor. It's not cheap. And so sometimes people don't actually have the funds to pay for these classes. She did a GoFundMe a while ago.
Yeah.
To have sponsorships for women who couldn't afford to pay for classes, and GoFundMe actually decided to seize those monies, and because they decided that wasn't a worthwhile charitable organization.
Yeah.
Now,
it's pretty incredible.
Right.
Oh man.
But yet you can burn and you can loot and you can kill people, and you can have a GoFundMe in your name.
Hey. That's true. What about Whoop-de-doo Goldberg out there?
Well, guess what? Whoopi is not Jewish.
No.
So, and my question with this, I mean, we're always talking about, and the left is always criticizing people who take on the identities of different religious sects and whatnot, but yet there's never been a criticism about Whoopi Goldberg taking on her name, and leaving the name Karen Johnson behind because that wasn't exotic enough for her. Yeah. So she embraces the name Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah, exactly.
And there was never,
It's Whoop-de-doo Goldberg to me.
It's Whoop-de-doo.
So who gives a crap,
Right.
Really? Because she has spent her entire time twisting the words in every single person's mouth that you think of. Now she's crying because she's saying that's not what she meant at all. Well, I'm telling you. I loved her in Color Purple. I really did. I think she did an amazing job. Right. And I even liked her in Ghost. But I haven't liked her for a while because she is just a very negative...
Absolutely.
And she racist. You want to call me and Boots over here racist? Come on. We're the least racist people on this planet. There's no way that we are racist. There's no way we're trying to cancel the culture.
No.
We're not Black heritage culture or anything like that at all. 100% not at all. But you've got this woman who has literally white shamed every single person that it's just crazy how much white shaming she does. And then not to mention twist every single thing that ever comes out of anybody's mouth. And now she has made this statement and now she's crying in her big Wheaties saying, she didn't mean it that way. And now she's pissed off. And of course, I don't know, she's going to threatening to quit or they're threatening to fire her. I don't know. But any whoopty-frickin-do. How about that?
Applause! Woo! Go away.
Anyway, we hope that you guys do follow, a lot of our animal, content and our Animals and Pets No Politics. We keep it separated. We do keep the politics from it because we don't care what side of the aisle anybody's on when it comes to an animal, and neither do they. And on that note, if you like or dislike us, either one of us, or both of us, we'd still like you to subscribe. So if you could go over to our YouTube channel and do that for us. And also if you ever want to give anything for our animals and the rescue, non-official rescue, but that we rescue all the time. Okay, we'd love to have you do that as well at petsnopolitics@redbootsandheels.com. Other than that, audience, we thank you. We're very gracious about your comments and your engaging with us. And for now, we're just going to say so long till next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.